The story of money, from stones to Bitcoin. Before the coins, before the banks, before the idea of rich or poor, humanity had one question: how do we trade? A man with a goat needed wheat. Another man with wheat needed clothes. But what if the man with clothes didn't need a goat? That was the first economic problem. And from that simple problem, the entire story of money begins. Thousands of years ago, humans lived by barter, exchanging one item for another. It worked, but only sometimes. Bartering depended on what economists call a double coincidence of wants. In other words, you could only trade if you found someone who wanted exactly what you had. It was slow, complicated, and often unfair. So humanity looked for something better, something everyone would agree had value. From Africa to Asia, people began using commodity money, items valuable by themselves. In some places it was salt, in others cattle, copper, or shells. In fact, the word salary comes from the Latin salarium, because Roman soldiers were sometimes paid in salt. These commodities were useful, but they weren't practical. You can't carry a herd of cows to the marketplace. You can't divide a piece of salt into exact prices. And so, the next great leap was inevitable. Around 700 BCE, in a small kingdom called Lydia, today part of Western Turkey, someone had a revolutionary idea. What if we take a rare metal, shape it into a standard size, and stamp it with a royal seal to prove its value? And thus, the first coins in human history were born. Made from a natural mixture of gold and silver called electrum, these coins changed the world. They were durable, portable, and trusted because the king's seal was a promise. A promise that this small piece of metal could buy anything. The idea spread like wildfire. The Greeks refined it, carving gods and heroes into their coins. The Persians used coins to fund their vast empire. The Romans standardized currency, stamping the image of the emperor to remind every citizen whose power held their wealth. Money was no longer just a tool. It became a symbol of civilization itself. To hold a coin was to hold a piece of your empire. But while the West used coins, the East was about to change everything again. In China, during the Tang and Song dynasties, around the 9th century, merchants faced a new problem. Their bags of metal coins were too heavy, too risky to carry across long distances. Their solution? Paper. The Chinese created the world's first banknotes, backed by trust, not metal. It was the birth of fiat money, meaning money that has value because people believe in it, not because it's made of something valuable. Marco Polo, the Venetian explorer, would later write in awe about the paper money of the Great Khan. He described how people accepted it everywhere, as if it were pure gold. Europe was slower to catch on. For centuries, coins dominated trade. But as commerce exploded in the 1600s, banks emerged, first in Italy, then in Amsterdam and London. They began issuing notes of credit, promises to pay the bearer in gold or silver. And just like that, money transformed again, from something you could hold to something you could trust. This trust became the foundation of modern banking. Governments soon realized that controlling money meant controlling power. By the 18th and 19th centuries, central banks began to print official currencies, and the age of the national currency was born. Steamships, railways, telegraphs, the world was connecting. Trade went global. The British pound, backed by gold, became the backbone of world commerce. Then came the gold standard, where every currency was tied to a fixed amount of gold. For a time, it brought stability, until the wars came. During World War I, nations printed money to fund the fight. The result? Inflation. After World War II, the global economy needed a new system. In 1944, world leaders met in a small American town called Bretton Woods. They decided that all major currencies would be tied to the US dollar, and the dollar itself would be backed by gold. For decades, this system worked, until one fateful decision.
In 1971, U.S. President Richard Nixon shocked the world by ending the dollar's link to gold. Money was now truly fiat. Its value came only from trust in governments. We had entered the modern age of money. As technology advanced, money became less physical. First came credit cards, then online banking, and digital transfers. Today, billions of dollars move every second across invisible networks. Your salary, your savings, your shopping, they're all just numbers in a database. Money no longer jingles, it flows. But in 2008, the financial system shook again. Banks collapsed, markets crashed, and people lost faith. And from that chaos, a new idea was born. A mysterious person or group called Satoshi Nakamoto published a paper about something revolutionary, a currency not controlled by any government, a currency that lived entirely online. This was Bitcoin, a decentralized digital currency built on blockchain technology. It didn't need banks, it didn't need borders, it needed only math and trust in code. For some, it was freedom. For others, a threat to everything that made the old world run. Today, we live in a world where money is transforming faster than ever. From cryptocurrencies to central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. From contactless payments to AI-driven finance. The very meaning of money is evolving before our eyes. The smartphone in your pocket is now your wallet, your bank, your stock exchange, and your cash register, all at once.
So what is money, really? It's not the paper, or the metal, or the screen. It's trust. It's the belief that what you hold in your hand, or on your phone, will still mean something tomorrow. From the first trade between two ancient strangers to the infinite transactions of the digital age, money has always been more than currency. It's the mirror of our civilization, the story of our progress, our power, and our trust in one another. Money isn't just how we buy things, it's how we believe in value itself.